Hello guys and welcome to today's STPL. I saw Aska, thank you for the gift sub, and you're asking what game was on the stream. It was Point Blank on the PS1. It's that there just now was a thing called MUVR. It's like a VR emulator, so you can play light gun games for the first time in forever, which is really, really good. But either way, we're here for the STPL. This is, of course, the tournament I run. If you've not seen the STPL before, this is a good place to start. We should have a good series today. But format-wise, it's best of 5 all the way through to the finals, which will be best of 7. That 1 to 4, all the lineups are selected in advance and all the games are played at the same time. And then set 5 is the ace match, which means every player can compete again if they so choose to. There's the map pool. There's a lot of maps there that if even if you follow Brood War, you may not know, because we've actually got 6 brand new maps for this season. We've got Blindside, Charmander, Desert Dwellers, Neo Moonglaive, Paradise, Pathfinder, Rosenbridge, and Tears of Goddess. And all of a sudden I had this really strange urge to drink water, so thankfully today I remember to get the water. But that is, of course, the format. Obviously there's a lot to go on. We've still got a lot of different things we can talk about, but basically this is week 3 of the STPL season 4. We are currently, if you think about it, we are about a third of the way through, I guess. There should be 9 weeks of the group stage. And I've just realised my microphone is set wrong, but that doesn't matter, so my mouth's not moving. It's all good though. Basically, today we have NaS versus Ash, 2 really, really good teams. NaS skipped out on Season 2, but they came back again. Sorry, they skipped out on Season 3, but then came back again for Season 4, which I'm really glad about. They are a primarily North American team, but they do have some people from all over the place. They've got Eonzerg in Belgium, Terra in Peru, dsaqwe in Croatia, and things like that. So they've got a load of different people. Ash are kind of more of a European team historically. They were a German team entirely. They were completely German. There was no other countries allowed in. But as time went on, the clan grew bigger. And then, of course, here they are today with a lot of different people. Their current STPL captain is Canadian. And it's kind of cool. We're going to have a couple of Terrans today, including the Ghost King from Poland, Radley. That should be a lot of fun. I'm hoping, especially after his last game he played on Desert Dwellers, that this should be a very good game. So, without further ado, let's jump in to have a look at how things are going so far. And as I say that, I click the wrong button. But let's have a look at the team rankings, and we can go from there. So here are the team rankings so far. NetWars currently in the lead after their win on Monday. If I remember correctly, NetWars beat DM to get to where they are. We have NaS, of course, in second. They're going to be playing today. Obviously, we're only about halfway through the week, so it's not completely indicative of what's going on. But DM and Psystorm holding their place at the bottom of the table for now. And, of course, with the wins on Monday, Net Wars and Wiko moving up a little bit. Still to play this week, we've got Soul, IRK, Rev, Red, Ash, who we're going to see today, and of course NaS, who we're going to see today as well. So we've got a lot of different players still to come. Yeah, NaS have done well so far. They've won both of their series 4-0. Are they going to win again 4-0? That's the question we've got. And I kind of hope they don't, because I want to see a close series. But of course, what I want is not what the teams want. The teams want to win. NaS are currently the only team that's undefeated, if I remember correctly. Here is the top 10 in the STPL: Noob, Scan, Koga, DeWalt, Famasi, Spire, Bonneth, Eon Zerg, Zealot, and Tai2. Now, Famasi is essentially retired from the tournament, but he still is in the yellow rankings. He will eventually get knocked out of there, so that's pretty cool. But basically, looking forward to seeing how all of these players are going to do today. We are not. Is Eon Zerg playing today? I don't think he is. No, Eon Zerg's not playing today, so we won't actually have anyone from the top 10. But there's a couple of people who are a little bit high up, so it's always good. So let's have a look at our teams for today. Starting us off here is going to be NaS. As mentioned, they are currently 2-0, 8-0 so far this season. They've currently won the last 4 times they've met against Ash, which is semi-important to take note of. It's actually quite a relevant stat as well, because the teams are mostly the same. It's not like I'm a football commentator and I'm talking about like a game that happened 60 years ago. All these games, all these matches have happened within the last 2 to 3 years, so still incredibly relevant. We've got dsaqwe, StRyKeR, Kingdom, and Dragon heading up their team for today. Dragon, of course, their captain. Very, very good Protoss player from Canada. He also plays Zerg if he's EVP. He's a damn race picker. He is a damn race picker, and that's why I was late, because I had to update my database. Let's have a look at Ash as well. Ash, we've got HitEmUp, Squall, Hejek joining their roster from Poland to join his countryman Radley, the Ghost King. Now, Radley has lost all 4 of his last games, but they've all been incredibly good games, and I would say he was robbed of the last one against Yeti. He could have won. Like, it was so close. It was on a knife edge. That was the game from last Friday. The VOD is up on YouTube if you want to go check that out. It's all signposted and everything with the new chapter system. But let's have a look at the lineups for today. Obviously, if you've seen the 2 teams, you can kind of work it out. But we've got a PVT to start us off on Charmander. That should be pretty fun. We've got a ZBZ, our only mirror of today, on Paradise. That should be a relatively quick game. Squall showing a little bit of ZBZ prowess recently, so StRyKeR could be in a little bit of trouble. Kingdom versus Hejek. I don't really know too much about Hejek, but here he is. Kingdom, a pretty strong Protoss player from the USA. And then we have the captain of NaS, Dragon, stepping up to the podium once again. And he is going to be up against the Ghost King, Radley. And now, if you are a sub or you've just become a sub, I've changed 2 of my emotes to a Storm emote and a Ghost emote. So if you want to use those, there they are. That's kind of cool. But basically, let's move ahead, introduce both of our players, and then we can get game. So starting us off here for Ash is going to be dsaqwe. dsaqwe still a relatively new player on the NaS roster. He was in Ash in Season 3. So this is a little bit of a betrayal. This is going to be Ash's time to get their revenge on him leaving their team. But he's only played 2 games so far for NaS, and he has won both of them. That isn't the Korean Pro Best. It's a different best. But the Korean Pro Best did actually play previously as well. But the thing is, I think dsaqwe was on NaS in Season 2. He just didn't play. And then in Season 3, he joined Ash when NaS dropped out. So let's have a look at his opponent. His opponent going to be starting us over here on the other side is going to be HitEmUp. HitEmUp working as the active captain of Ash in the STPL. He is a Canadian Terran. He is very, very strong. He's done very well in the STPL to be rank 35 in the ELO rankings. That is definitely not something that's easy to achieve. So very, very nicely done by HitEmUp so far. The map they're going to be going into is going to be Charmander. I'm hoping, I am praying that we don't get a takedown notice from Nintendo because we've used a Charmander sprite, but I would hope that it's not going to be a problem. But here we go, Charmander made by Mellow, or as he is known now, Minerals. He changed his name during this last year. We've only had one TvP here so far. It was Sandra versus Kogut. That was on Monday. And if I remember correctly, yeah, Sandra versus Kogut was quite interesting because Kogut went for a very quick, fast expansion. Sandra went for a 12 Nex as well. Kogut went to punish the Nexus by doing a Marine SCV push. He killed the Nexus, pulled back home, and then died to DTs anyway. So, let's see what the next game is going to be like. Let's see what game 1 is going to be like as we get into our first map today. It's Charmander. Okay, starting us off here in the top right hand corner, fighting in the red for Ash from Canada, it's HitEmUp. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand corner in the white as our Protoss player from Croatia, it's dsaqwe for NaS. Legit can't, unfortunately my cat passed away in July, which is why I removed the emote of her as well, because it was kind of sad whenever I saw her. But yeah, that was sad times. Sad times, but we're getting there. She was she was almost 19. She was a month away from being 19, so she had a good long life. I like to think she had fun. But back to Brood War, we've got HitEmUp going for a wall here. This is very important to do. There is 2 ramps into your main. Now that is quite an interesting map feature. One of the ramps goes to a backdoor expansion, a backyard expansion. But there is actually a ramp going into it as well from your natural. So players can use either one of the ramps to get into your main, so you do have to kind of wall off if you want to. We've got dsaqwe going for a relatively quick scout, going for a cross scout as well, because this is something Protoss are able to do. Just go for a cross scout, you may get lucky. Now I don't think it's a case of he's misclicked here. No, this is where the main ramp is. But there we go, you'll see the 4 ramp setup going into the main base, which is quite interesting. Obviously dsaqwe gonna be finding his opponent late, and he's not getting any information from this whatsoever. HitEmUp going for his gas, scouting in the correct direction to begin with, so that is going to be a big advantage for him. The middle, I think there's part of it is buildable, but not much. As a matter of fact, I don't know if any of it is. I don't think it is. It's kind of like Ground Zero and Neo Ground Zero in that respect. Here we go, the probe is going to come in, see absolutely nothing. Here's that high ground pod I was talking about in better view. You've got the Protoss Temple that you can destroy and take a mineral only base. HitEmUp looks like he wants to maybe proxy a starport over here? Or maybe not, he's just hiding the SCV. It's a little bit too early for the starport. There is a Charmander in the middle. Let's just show this while we can. Look at this. Look how cool that looks. Looks nice, right? And for a second I thought this thing up here was a gas. I was like, what the hell? Okay, it looks like dsaqwe going for a Robo here, so that's going to be possibly Reavers. He could expand behind this and just go for Observers, but I get the feeling he's going to go for a quick one-base Reaver. And I wonder if HitEmUp's going to be able to deal with it. Now, we do have the first factory finished. No, oh, there is a command center coming in, so we are going to have an expansion from HitEmUp. We've got HitEmUp coming back in for another scout. Sees at 4 minutes. There is no Nexus, and there is no probe waiting to build a Nexus either. Now, he's not going to get to see much at all in the main base, but he is going to know that there is some kind of tech coming. We've got the support bay coming in, and we should immediately see an academy go up at the very least. Just because you do need to be careful, because of course you don't know if they're going for Reaver or if they're going for DT. So it's very important to check. We've got dsaqwe just checking out for no proxies or anything. We've got HitEmUp going over here to check for a proxy behind his main, because you can actually build here. You can build here. This is a really nice buildable area. It's not a big area, but I think you may be able to just about fit a robo in there. Now HitEmUp scanning around, just checking what's going on. Sending another SCV out, trying to get any form of scouting information done. Obviously, as we know, that is going to be quite difficult. There's already a Dragoon and a Zealot up here. The second Dragoon out in the middle of the map, third Dragoon as well. HitEmUp is just checking everywhere for proxies right now. He's really unsure what his opponent's doing. You'll see that he's not even expanding because he doesn't know what to do just yet. He's going for the engineering bay to try and deal with any possible DTs. Now, turrets are very important in this situation against Reaver as well. Is he going to build some safety turrets, or is he just going to try and blind counter DTs? If he does that, he could be in a lot of trouble here, because there's going to be a Reaver and a Zealot heading on over to his base. Here comes the first turret. This is an anti-Reaver turret right here. His units are still in the main base. They're just about moving. But look at this Vulture. He sees the shuttle. He knows to pull his units back into his main base now. Defending this, not too important. He's not going to worry about that too much. He can put some mines there, and that should be fine. And let's have a look, see if he can get the Reaver as it comes out the shuttle. The Zealot has been dropped. The Reaver drops down as well. The two Marines get taken down. The tank takes a little bit of damage from the Reaver, but the shuttle really shouldn't be doing too much anymore. It's lost a lot of health. Nice turret positioning by HitEmUp. Means essentially dsaqwe isn't able to do whatever he wants. Now the shuttle going to come into the natural. He's going to fly into the turret. This is the worst place he could have gone. The Reaver drops into the mine. The shuttle goes down. The Reaver goes down. And HitEmUp is now in an incredible position. His expansion was a little bit late, but he has a command center. And dsaqwe does not have a Nexus just yet. He's just built it. But he needed damage with that Reaver, and that is something he did not get. Elfunk, this map is called Charmander. It's one of the brand new maps for the STPL Season 4. Now we've got an observer trying to come into the main, see what's going on. It's going to find the gap just between the two, just between the, I think it said shuttles, between the two turrets. So he is going to be able to see the factory count, and he is going to know exactly what HitEmUp is going to do to try and counteract how badly that Reaver attack went. Now in TvP, if you can block the first Reaver or the first DTs without taking any damage, you open up the door to a 4, 5 or 6 fact push, and that suddenly becomes very difficult for Protoss to deal with. A lot of times Protoss will try and play greedy to come back into the game, and that is exactly what dsaqwe is going to do. He's going to build his Nexus at the mineral only in his backyard. This is going to be very easy for him to defend, but still, it's minerals that aren't going into units, that aren't going into gateways. And look, a Vulture is going to see this as well. There is going to be a Reaver on the low ground. You may as well build another couple of Reavers, use them with a shuttle to try and delay any possible push that can come out the Terran. We've got SCVs getting ready to add a third and fourth factory on here. A lot of tanks already. And here comes the additional 2 factories, but look at this. The observer seeing all of this, he knows exactly what's going on. 5th factory being added as well, and this is when dsaqwe has to go into battle stations here, because he needs... Oh, the mine! doesn't go off. But he is going to need to go to battle stations. He needs a lot of gateways. He needs a lot of units. And that is going to be very important because look at this. HitEmUp starting to get ready to go across the map. Does turn back. I don't know if he's waiting for more units or he's trying to trick dsaqwe into pushing a bit too far forward. I think HitEmUp has misread what's going on. I think he thinks he's getting pushed. That's a little bit unfortunate. I kind of feel like pushing when he did would have been really good. There's not that many gateways. There's not that many units. But I suppose he can wait. Look at this. He's even brought units back into the main. Now, he has seen the shuttle now with an SCV, so bringing the units back in the main is good. But I can't help but think that he could have started pushing there. Now, Ryan Metal in chat says, huh? Only 5 patches with 1000 in them? The reason for that is because it's so easy to defend. It is essentially a free expansion, so it's a lot smaller. It means you can't turtle on 3 base forever, you have to move out. It's an investment to take it, of course, but if you do take it, you get a minor benefit from it, and then you need to move out on the map. There's no gas there as well, so... It's kind of reminiscent of like the base on Neo Medusa and Neo Electric Circuit. And God's Garden as well, of course. But God's Garden had a full base, I think. Yeah, as Albert says, 5,000 minerals is more than 400. So it's definitely worth taking the base. We've got dsaqwe moving out. Now this is a very nice push path. When you're in vertical positions, you'll notice that he can get on the high ground. He can expand here as well. That'll give him access to the full gas here on the right hand side. And it's going to be quite difficult for dsaqwe to be able to push into this. He's got 2 paths in from the front. He can also come in from behind and go for a counter. The HitEmUp is pushing this very, very nicely. Now the other thing is, part of this is buildable when you're back here, so you can push with turrets. But dsaqwe definitely feeling the hurt from losing his first Reaver with doing no damage, and also playing very greedy to try and catch back up. But here we go. Could this be a mistake from HitEmUp? No, a lot of his tanks are sieged. A lot are unsieged. The Reavers coming in, getting some big shots off, but loses both of the Reavers. Now the tanks on the high ground have sieged up. There's not really too much going on for dsaqwe right now. He's lost a lot of Dragoons. One of his other ones runs back in for some reason. Now we do have a lot of Zealots starting to come in, and there's not actually any Vultures just yet. You can see them coming in to reinforce from the top here. But this is definitely a little bit of a stronger position for Terran to push now. dsaqwe stuck on his 2 bases. Or 3 bases, I guess. He is getting himself contained, and that is when Protoss are going to start to struggle. Oh, a misclick by HitEmUp, shooting his own tank. Don't want to kill that. And here we go, we've got HitEmUp in a position to attack the natural expansion here. There's no chance of a counter. The Zealot drop going to come in. This could actually be the big deciding factor. Looks like the tanks aren't doing too much friendly fire at the moment, but still doing a decent amount. The units coming in from dsaqwe, killing a few of the tanks at the front. But this may just be a little bit too much here for HitEmUp. HitEmUp definitely coming in with a very, very strong push, a very strong army. And if we check the upgrades, he's on 1 attack already. And that's very nice upgrade timing. You should actually have +2 nearly done as well. Let's have a check. No, +2 unless it's just finished. He never went for, yeah. So HitEmUp, feeling he'd won the game, stopped macroing up upgrades, just added on another factory, and just started going for mass units. Now he has started to go in to Goliaths. This will help him deal with the shuttle, but I think he's assuming there's either Arbiter coming or Carrier. But as we can see, that is not the case, and the shuttle is one of the only hopes that poor dsaqwe has left. Vultures on the high ground here, killing Dragoons at this point. dsaqwe is on his death throes here. This is soon to be the end of the Croatian Protoss in this game. Canada definitely getting one up here. The Zealot drop coming in at the back though, doing a lot of damage to these tanks. Remember, this is HitEmUp just on 2 bases. But these vultures are going to be doing so much damage at the third base. The natural has fallen. And HitEmUp has a massive supply advantage. But the mines... Oh my goodness, the mines doing a lot of friendly fire to dsaqwe, but killing a lot of the vultures as well. And now dsaqwe is essentially down on to one base. More units coming in. Mainly Goliaths, a single tank and a couple of vultures. But dsaqwe is on his last legs. It's going to be so difficult to come back from this. HitEmUp just pushing through the middle of the map. He knows he's in a good position. And the main is high ground. This base is low ground. But we've got, finally, the units over there have been stopped. They've been killed. Single zealots running down, trying to mine drag. I admire the perseverance here, but HitEmUp just kind of securing his victory here, adding on a couple of turrets at the front to help defend against any shuttles. And dsaqwe is going to need to find some way out of this. It's going to be tough. He's still got 2 bases mining. HitEmUp is only just now expanding. He's not actually killed the temple just yet, so not too much to worry about there. And of course, we don't have +2 attack. 2-1 is the major breakpoint in TvP where things become almost impossible for the Protoss to engage head-on into the Terran army. But there's not that many tanks here. dsaqwe can break out, and we could still have a game. It all depends on how this engagement goes. Obviously, a lot of the units getting stuck on the ramps. That is Brood War for you. It does happen. It looks like dsaqwe is going to break out of his base, and HitEmUp has not been reinforcing this. Although dsaqwe not attacking all the tanks with his Dragoons, he's actually been pushing forward. And could this be the move that dsaqwe needs to get back in the game? There's still a lot of units coming in from HitEmUp, but if dsaqwe can retreat after killing these tanks, regroup, rebuild his forces, does he have a shot here? Or does HitEmUp just have too much? It looks to me like he has a little bit too much, but you never know in Brood War. Yeah, the unfinished buildings as well as the buildings at the front really tanking a lot of shots here. The Dragoons coming in here, not doing too much against the number of tanks. A mine going off, killing a few SCVs and 2 Dragoons as well. And I think this is going to be the move that will checkmate Protoss, because there is going to be no way out of his main base anymore. He's only got 27 supply of workers, and that's over half of his supply at the moment. GG, dsaqwe taps out, and HitEmUp wins game number 1. We'll be back in just a sec with game number 2. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for the STPL. The important thing about that last game is HitEmUp just gave NaS their first game loss so far in Season 3. Now if they lose another game, they have a chance to lose their top spot to Seoul this week if Seoul can get a 4-0. NaS of course still need to win the series if they want to hold on to their top spot, but Ash are looking very, very strong. And up next, we have some very, very good players coming. Ash, of course, going to be sending out Squall, who did take out True Touch just a couple of weeks ago. So let's introduce both of our players. So starting us off here for NaS is going to be StRyKeR. Now, StRyKeR, I must admit, I don't know too much about. I've not really seen many of his games. I've only seen 2 of them so far in the STPL. And essentially, StRyKeR very, very good so far, at least in TvP. We've not seen his ZVZ just yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Let's have a look at his opponent, of course. His opponent going to be the one, the only, the legendary Spanish player Squall. And Squall, a very, very good player for Ash. He did lose his last game against Tarson, but in ZVZ, he's won 3 out of 4 of his games, which is very, very good. And he beat Zero, Vesco, and True Touch in there. Vesco, I can't remember how good he was, but True Touch and True Touch and Zero, both incredibly good Zerg players. So Squall, definitely in a good position moving forward. Let's have a look at the map they're going to be playing on. Obviously, it's ZVZ, so the map features don't come into it too much. This is our first ZVZ on this map, which I'm kind of excited for, but it is Paradise. There's 3 very short paths. Well, there's 3 paths through the middle of the map, 2 very wide ones, 1 very small. Bigger armies likely to go around the outside, but given it's ZVZ, we'll have Lings running through the middle of the map, Muters flying wherever they want to. And let's get into it. Let's have a look at game number 2. It's StRyKeR versus Squall. Have I somehow broken my game sound? I think I've broken my game sound. How did I do that? That's not good. Well, there we go. We've got no game sound for the moment. What I will do... Should I fix this? I wonder if I can. I can probably fix this, actually. If we change this to this... Have you guys got game sound now? I think you guys have game sound now, right? I don't know how loud it is or anything, so... I cannot hear a thing. But either way, starting us off here in the top left-hand corner, we do have the... I guess this is Grey Zerg player fighting for NaS. And there we go, my sound fixed itself, so now I can hear it and the stream can't. Let's put this back. You know what, this is so strange. And then starting us off down in the bottom right, for Ash is going to be Squall. Yeah, I have no idea how I've broken the sound, but the sound is 100% broken right now. I guess, I guess I can't explain this, but in terms of what's going on in the CVZ, it's a 9 pool, 9 gas for Squall. StRyKeR going for a 12 pool into an 11 gas. People in chat asking me to make the friggin' noises here. I'm definitely not making those noises. Oh wait, it was fixed. It's just because it was so loud when it switched to the other speakers, it went really quiet. Radley saying I have to unmute sound. Radley, I may be a clown, but I'm not too much of a clown, right? We do have the Lings running across the map here. I'm just quickly putting the stuff in the overlay. When I get thrown off, I get really thrown off. So that's one thing I definitely need to work on. But that's one of the problems of doing everything on your own. Because when something goes wrong, it really goes wrong. But it's not a big deal. It really isn't a big deal. Now Squall pushing forward. We do have his Lings coming out a lot sooner than his opponent here, which means it's going to be a faster expansion here for StRyKeR. Squall with his Lings at the front. This is kind of how he played against True Touch, but True Touch went 12 hatch. And wait, oh, I see what you mean by muting sound. There we go. I completely missed that. Here we go. Nice engagement so far by Squall. Squall definitely showing why he's so good in TvP. The hatchery going to be coming under fire here, but definitely does need to watch out for those Lings. Hatchery is a very good distraction. The hatchery isn't the end of the world. If you lose it, obviously you're behind. But if you can save it, if you can use the hatchery as a buffer for your Lings to come in and save it, then obviously you're going to be in a good spot. But losing another drone here is Squall. So StRyKeR, who did build more drones than Squall has throughout the game, has already lost 2 of them, as well as the one that went into the hatchery. Another drone going down here as well. And this is looking a little bit too strong for Squall. Is Squall going to take Ash 2-0 up against NaS? Ash haven't beaten NaS so far in the STPL. And yeah, Radley showed me up there. I feel bad. That's what he meant by unmute sound, and I was just I completely didn't get what he meant. You wouldn't think that English was my native language. I just don't understand English at all. But nice moves by Squall here. StRyKeR trying to push away, trying to pull Squall away from his base because he knows he's in a lot of trouble here. He's going to have to sacrifice the hatchery. He built a drone? He built a drone! That is such a risky play. He needs as many Lings as possible. But StRyKeR getting into the main base of Squall here. He gets 1 drone. He gets 2 drones. Going to get a 3rd? Yes, he does. He gets 3 drones. And all of a sudden, StRyKeR is up 5 drones. But can he defend against the Lings that are in his main base? That is the problem. His hatchery has gone down. The Lings are falling down as well. And suddenly, all of the drone lead coming in from StRyKeR is about to fall. Nice micro so far by StRyKeR, but it is 5 drones now against 5 drones, 4 drones, 0 drones as StRyKeR taps out, and Squall wins his second TvP in a row against some really good players here in the STPL. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Wait. Could you not hear me? You trolling? Oh god. I don't like that kind of troll. I don't like that kind of troll. God damn it. It's horrible. It always catches me out. Okay, I'll see you in a second. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going into game number 3 between Ash and NaS. Ash are currently 2-0 up against NaS for, I think, the first time ever. I would have to double check that. I need to actually make that into a stat screen for myself so I can actually be accurate with that fact. But essentially, Ash and NaS, Ash have never beaten NaS in their career in the STPL. NaS are currently 5-0 up against the other team. So it'll be kind of crazy if Ash can win here. But starting us off for NaS, he is going to have to win this game or they're going to lose the series. It is going to be Kingdom. Kingdom has been a fairly reliable Protoss player for NaS throughout their STPL career. He's not played too many games, especially in Season 3. He played, he didn't play at all in Season 3, but he played quite a bit in Season 2 and Season 1. This is his first game in Season 4 as well, so looking forward to seeing how he's going to do. Against Zerg, he's at 50%, which is pretty good. His opponent is going to be Hejek. I don't know, or Hejek, I don't know how to say it, but I don't know anything about him, so I can't really say if he's good or not, because I've got no idea. But let's have a look at the map they're going to be going into. It's going to be Pathfinder. Now, ZVP we've had, it's actually been quite even throughout the STPL's history. Most of the ZVPs were back in Season 1, back when we had SK Alpha, and we still had the old logos. We didn't upload to the, or update to the new logos until Season 3. But wait, must have been, did Valhalla join us in Season 1? They must have joined us in Season 1. I can't believe it was that long ago. But either way, Pathfinder, a very, very fun map. Very, very cool to play. Protoss and Terran usually get more play on this map, but we've had a good number of ZVPs and TVZs as well. So let's head into it. It's game number 3. It's Kingdom versus Hejek, or Hejek, and it's starting right now. Okay, starting us off here in the top middle position, we do have the green Zerg player fighting for Ash. It's Hejek, as Lucky Noob said I could say. Don't know if that's right. I don't know whether or not the Zerg music is just really quiet or if there's no music playing. I guess there was no music playing. There we go.
We can hear you. Can you hear us? Cheeky smiley face.
Thank you, Dan, for the cheer. This is green. It's olive green. Is it olive green or is it lime green? It's one of the greens. I have an IPS monitor, I can tell. I don't know if it comes across on the stream, but spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, fighting for NaS, it's Kingdom. Now, Kingdom, of course, needs to win this game if he wants to keep NaS in this series. Of course, Game 4 will be played at the end, regardless. So we'll get to see Radley versus Dragon, regardless of what happens here. But of course, Kingdom is going to be hoping that he can win here to keep the dream alive. Because if he can win, Dragon can win, and then we'll have an ace match for the second time this week, which would be kind of cool. And it's green on the minimap as well. It's 100% green on the minimap as well. It's just a very, very yellowy green. One of the benefits of having an IPS monitor is I can see the differences in the colors. But sometimes, and the reason why we have the STPL on top versus bottom is because essentially, if you don't have an IPS monitor, you can't see the difference between two types of green. So it looks kind of yellow as well, like this one. So if you have like this green against yellow, it's impossible to tell, especially on like PvP. NCX says on an IPS monitor, can you read the dark blue? Yes and no. It depends where it is. Like if it's on a black space, I can't. If it's on anything else, I can. It's still hard to read though. The dark blue on the bit up here is really weird. I don't know why they picked that color. But it is a really nice navy blue, so I can't complain. I do like navy blue like that. It looks really cool on units, it's just the name. The name is the problem with that color. It's like I'm really sad they removed the sky blue, which was the color of the minerals, because on units it looked so nice. It looked so nice. Okay, back at home we've got the Forge Fast Expand coming in for Kingdom. Hejek is currently going for 3 hatcheries before lair, so he is possibly going to go in to a Hydra bus here. That is a possibility he can go for, but he does have a good number of drones already. 13 drones at his main base. Extractor coming in. Natural is done. Oh, thank you, Red Axis, for the 1,000-bit cheer, man. And 25 other people got rewards in chat, so that's kind of cool. I don't know what the rewards are. I'm assuming there's some kind of emote. I think Protoss in the lore is usually purple. You have purple Protoss, red Zerg, and blue Terran. Or white Terran in Brood War, technically, because of the UED. And I guess purple Zerg because of Kerrigan. I think it's blue Protoss as well in the campaign. Oh, Protoss is yellow. Okay. Purple Protoss looks so good, and it also sounds really good saying it. One thing to note is Kingdom is doing a very good job keeping his probe alive in this game so far. Not quite Bisu levels of having it in the Zerg base at like 5.5, 7 minutes or so, but still pretty good. Third base is up. Kingdom does not know about this, unfortunately, so he doesn't know his opponent has the chance of going for a 3-hatch build. But he did see no lair, he saw only 1 gas, so he should be able to figure out what's going on. I think he saw the Hydra Den as well. Now, it's whether or not he can defend against it is a problem, because essentially Protoss can know a Hydra bust is coming and still die to it. Now, Hejek, I'm going to need to make sure he changes his name if possible, so he's actually got his proper username, or I'll change his username to Arlor, but that would be really horrible to say, because I keep going to say the wrong name. But either way, he's pushing forward, he's got his Hydra speed done, Hydra range is on the way now, another probe is coming in here, he sees the third base, he sees a Hydra going towards his base, and you'll note that immediately he adds on another couple of cannons. Could this be a little bit too late though? The second upgrade is around about halfway done, just over. It doesn't take too long to finish, and this is already a good number of Hydras here. So this could be a problem. There is only a few Zealots at the front. The Forge is going to go down before it can finish +1. The cannons, there's only 3 of them up at the moment. The 4th one is about to warp in, but that still isn't that many. There are 4 gateways in the main. There's Zealot speed coming in, but there's no Templar archives yet. He's delaying that to get more gateways. Now the problem is when you don't have +1, even with Zealot speed, your Zealots aren't going to be doing too much against the Hydras. That +1 is a very important upgrade, and to lose it that quickly, and to lose your Forge when you've already got 4 cannons, I think Kingdom may have lost the game. This is a lot of Hydras, and here we go. He's going to go in for a bust. Let's see how this is going to go. We have the Zealots running up. Can they delay long enough? The problem is, the longer they delay, there's still no additional cannons coming in. So what's he going to be delaying for? Probes are being pulled as well. And Kingdom is in a lot of trouble this game. Kingdom back down to 2 cannons. He's only got 6 Zealots to his name. He, of course, does have like 5 or 6 gateways, so he can build those fairly quickly. But another cannon gets taken down immediately, and we can have a look at the supplies now to see the problem. Kingdom is only just ahead in supply, and when that's the case, as Protoss, you know you're going to be in a lot of trouble. The extra cannon being sniped there by Hejek as well. And it looks like this could be a little bit too much. Too fast here for Kingdom. He's actually cancelled a building there. I think he double built Forge. His Forge is only just now finished, and he has no cannons. He can't afford cannons right now either because he's building so many Zealots And look at the micro from Hejek coming in here on his Hydras, really nullifying the amount of damage the Zealots can be doing. And Zealots are obviously melee units, they can only do so much. If they have +1, it's a different story. But when you're in a situation like this, you don't have +1, all you have is Zealots. A Hydra Bust is going to kill you, there's no Storm available, there's no time to get Storm either. And this is what it looks like when a Zerg player just comes in with a ton of Hydras. Now he does get a good engagement there with the probes as well, so maybe he can push back here and do some counter damage. But he needs cannons! He needs Storm! And every time he's pulling his probes, that is less money going into cannons, less money going into Templar. And that is a problem. He doesn't even have the Templar Archives. I don't know if he cancelled it. But without Storm, how do you expect to beat Proto or Zerg in the late game? He's just going to mass Zealots. He's going to try and go for a one-punch move here to try and kill him. He's playing as if he was Reach back in like 2004. He is just building a ton of Zealots and ramming them into the Zerg player's base in the hopes that he can win the game. But it's a gamble. Will it pay off? It's very difficult to make this work. Zealots are obviously very, very fast units, so he can move around as much as he wants. The Hydra shouldn't be able to catch up with him. But it's a matter of time. Every moment the Zerg player's alive, the more units they're going to get, the more Hydras they're going to get. And the more units you're not going to be able to deal with, which is the major issue. Now it looks like the Zealots could actually kill themselves here, going towards the main, trying to go towards the army, but look how fast these Zealots are falling. It's so hard to make this work, and this is the reason you need Storm with this. Storm is such an important spell, but somehow, without +1, these Zealots are chewing through the Hydralisks. But he's on borrowed time, look at this, the Zealots start falling. The third base is mining, there's still Hydras at pretty much every possible location. And Hejek is down to, or is up to even supply. And when you're even supply with the Protoss player, when you're ahead of in supply like he is now, that is when the Protoss is pretty much out of the game, because it's so hard to come back when you're so far behind. The lair never started though, so if Kingdom can hold on, if he can weather the storm for long enough, he might be able to do something here. But the trouble is, without a Templar Archives, how do you deal with this many Hydras? He has a single cannon. That's going to go down immediately. Okay, the cannon survives. And it looks like he's going to give him an Overlord for free. But yeah, the cannon gonna get sniped here. There's not really too much the Kingdom can do. He's gonna try and engage into this. +1, still not done, still not researched. So much gas from Kingdom right now, where he hasn't had a Templar Archives. He's not been able to spend his gas on anything, where he's just been building Zealots. And this is what happens when you go mass Zealot against Zerg. You don't have any minerals for anything else. You don't have any minerals for cannons. You don't have any money to get Templar Archives. And unfortunately, that's going to be the end of the line. And this is going to give Ash their first win against NaS in the entire history of the STPL. That is very, very impressive that they managed to do that. And more importantly, for the season, it's going to give Ash their first win. So NaS are going to drop from first place for now. I mean, they may still be in... No, I think they'll drop now from first place. Obviously, depending on how our other two teams do. Oh, sorry, Net Wars are in first place at the moment. NaS aren't, so that's fine. We'll be back in just a few minutes with game number 4. It's going to be a good one. It's Dragon versus the Ghost King Radley. Can Dragon win the last game for his team? Can he bring a bit of pride back into NaS, or is Radley going to stick the knife in and twist it? And is he going to nuke or ghost Dragon into oblivion? Let's find out when we get back after this short break. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 4 between Ash and NaS. Unfortunately for Dragon, he cannot uphold the sanctity of his team's win here because Ash have taken out NaS 3-0, but Dragon can still get a win on the board for his team. He is a very strong player, ranked 12 in the STPL overall in the ELO rankings, and overall just a really fun Protoss player to watch. He's got a 73% win rate overall, a 63% or 66% win rate over Terran, and he should be the favored one here. But when you look at his opponent, it's someone, even though he's got a lot of losses, I never want to count out because you never know what's going to happen. Because Radley can be in a really weird situation. He plays some really weird styles. He plays his very own brand of StarCraft, and that's why we all love watching him. He's got the nickname, what's his nickname? It's the Ghost King. I don't know how I forgot that. There's actually an STPL Ghost emote now as well if you want to support him in chat while he's playing and make him build ghosts. But either way, really good player. Let's have a look at the map they're going into. It's one of our 2-player maps for the season. It's going to be our second PvT. Kogut did take out Dreamer on this map previously this week. But Blindside, 2-player map made by Minerals. Paradise, of course, was made by Gosomi. And the map after this is made by Gosomi as well. But we won't have that as well. But Blindside, really fun map. 12 and 6 o'clock spawns. It splits kind of diagonally. If you play it that way, there are other ways to split the map as well. But as it's TvP, I wonder how this is going to go as we get into game number 4. Okay, starting us up here in the 12 o'clock position in the Peach, fighting for NaS. It's their captain. It's Dragon. And his opponent spawning down here in the 6 o'clock position in the pink, fighting for Ash. It's the Ghost King, Radley. Now, the last game we saw from Radley, let me just look at how long that game was. Can I see that from here? I don't think I can see that from here, but basically his last game was around 35 minutes, I think. It was against Yeti. He came very close to winning, and it is magenta. I just called it pink because, I don't know. Yeah, magenta is a really good color. Magenta is definitely one of the best colors in Brood War. Now, Radley, is he going to proxy a barracks? Oh no, he's just going to wall in. He's going to wall in as natural. I think he's going to, yeah, so he's going to go for 1 Rax fast expand here, it looks like. Dragon plays incredibly standard. He is one of the North American Protosses. And if there's one thing that can be said about North American players, it's that a lot of them play incredibly standard. There isn't really too many North Americans who play cheesy. The one major one was the Cheese King, also known as Michael. But he did, as far as I'm aware, he's not playing anymore. Obviously, if you go on ladder, there's probably a lot of cheesy players on ladder in North America if you're laddering there. But when it comes to like players who play in tournaments, you've got the likes of Dragon, Kingdom, HitEmUp, Jaeyoon, Sugo, Seriosity. All of them play incredibly standard. That's just how they play. They all play on incredibly standard maps as well. So Dragon is a little bit out of his comfort zone, I think, in the STPL, but I think out of all of the North American players, he doesn't really care about the map as much. He just cares about his opponent, I think. And I mean, Dragon is a very strong player. Like, unless a map is, like, super broken, I don't think I've ever seen Dragon complain too much. Which I'm quite thankful for. But I know Sugo tried to organize a show match at some point on some maps that I picked and the NA team refused to play. Oh, it's so funny, but I get it, I get it. Not everyone likes crazy maps. Some people just like playing what they're comfortable on, and that's fine. But when it's for fun, you know, like when it was like, I think it was meant to be NA versus EU, the EU team were really looking forward to playing, and then like NA were like, no, we're not playing on those maps. It's like, what? Really? Oh well. I guess TT1 you can also fit in that banner as well, the other Canadian Protoss player. But looks like we do have Dragon pushing forward with his first Zealot. Nice SimC here by Radley. Going to be forcing that Zealot to run away. The Zealot, I wonder if it's going to turn back and shoot the Marines. Yes, it is. Oh, the Marine! Luckily enough, he didn't send the wrong Marine at the front. But he definitely doesn't want to be losing any Marines to this Zealot. So very nice movement by Dragon, forcing Radley to waste a lot of a lot of APM. I think said a lot of STPL. Wrong acronym. We're all good though. Now next is coming up here from Dragon on 24 supply, 23 supply. So he is looking to play a very standard as expected. This is obviously a reaction. Oh my god, the first Dragoon went down. The first Zealot going to go down as well, but he did lose 2 Marines in the process of doing that. So that means 2 of his Marines aren't going to be in the bunker for a little bit later on. Now, if you're wondering why I'm calling Radley the Ghost King, there's been a lot of clips recently of him playing in the STPL. And basically, Radley is one of the only players that I know to essentially go ghosts every single game late game. It doesn't matter if he's not going to nuke. Sometimes he doesn't nuke, but he likes lockdown. His game on Desert Dwellers against Yeti, he didn't nuke once, but he did lock down a ton of Arbiters. And that was very, very good. So we get to see the Ursidon running off into the forest where he can no longer be seen. One other thing to note about Radley is oftentimes with Radley we end up with very, very long games. They are very weird, they are very crazy, and you can never be sure what is going to happen. Like, I never know what to expect when I'm watching Radley play. Like, Radley is on like this weird level of I don't understand how he plays as well as he does, doing the style he's doing. So the Dragoons attacking the bunker at the front. The factory, the first factory, is actually in the natural as well. So that means the tank's going to get there a little bit faster. Turrets coming up behind because Radley doesn't really know what's going on at his opponent's base, where he's unable to go and scout. Observer is going to be order of the day here for Dragon. Dragon actually getting one of his probes stuck, so maybe if later on he wants to stack some Corsairs, he can do that. And yeah, Radley going for a depot wall as well. This is kind of weird. I didn't notice this when I first looked, but it does mean that if a recall comes into his base here, or here, he can't get to the other part. +1 attack coming in very fast for Radley here, which is very nice to see. Double tank on the way. Siege mode should be on the way as well if he's not already got it. More turrets coming in at the front. First observer out on the field. Yeah, this is the I don't know if you guys heard about it, but this is the Great Wall of Poland. And the first observer going to go down. There we go. Perfect turret positioning by Radley. Going to catch that observer. Obviously, when you go for a turret ring like this, it is a lot of money early on. But the important thing is, Dragon has absolutely no idea what's going on. And look at this, the second observer getting incredibly close to a turret as well. If Dragon loses this observer, he's going to be in a very bad spot. Like, of course, he's going to see the SCV running off to the top left, so he should know to send at least one unit just to make sure. Okay, SCV not doing anything too crazy, just kind of hiding up here in the top left. Possibly going to go check for a third base from Dragon over in the top left, sort of semi... Well, it's not even a semi-island base, it's just kind of tucked away in the corner. You can see that base in the bottom left down here. Now, he does check the mineral only. There's no base here for Dragon just yet. We can see, of course, that he does have this base here. You can see he's being very careful. He is making sure that he is not going to die to any Vulture run-bys. And that is something Radley is definitely normal. 4 gateways for Dragon so far. 5th being added on. Citadel of Adun coming in. There was a scan. I think he scanned to try and kill... What did he scan? I'm kind of unsure what he scanned there. Unless I caught it too slowly. And we do have a starport here coming up for Radley. Now the cool thing about a starport when Radley's playing is the next logical step is a science facility. And the next logical step beyond that is a covert ops. So let's see if that's going to happen. We've got Radley pushing through the direct center of the map. This is a hard place to attack. Given the fact it is a very small choke. This is one of the map features here. If we zoom out, you'll see there's these vision blocking forests, much like on Whiteout, to allow bigger armies to move through, but it becomes a little bit more dangerous. Radley pushes out, pulls Dragon's units into the middle of the map, and is going to fall back. Second armory coming in. We do have +1 finished. Radley a little bit late on his science facility here, but +2. Wait, why wouldn't you go for +2 first? Oh my goodness. Get the STPL ghosts in chat. There's a covert ops coming up already. We're 10 minutes into the game and we're going ghosts. There we go. Radley definitely showing his signature style here. We do have a Zealot drop coming in. That's going to really help against the tanks. Looks like Dragon wants to try and bust this. I'm not sure how well this is going to go. Nice bit of friendly fire, but this is a very difficult place for Dragon to attack. And that is definitely Dragon being a little bit overzealous. Definitely not working out there. Dragon dropping quite a lot of supply. Still ahead of supply of Radley, but he was unable to stop this third base coming up. And that third gas is going to be very important, especially when you're going to be sat on a covert ops. So the fourth base coming in from Dragon. He knows Radley's expanding. He knows he doesn't have too many units, so he's not going to be able to push back anytime soon. The 8 gateways from Dragon going to help while he goes for a Stargate. Most likely going to be the Arbiter Tribunal coming in here behind this as the Templar Archives is done. But it's not been built just yet, so we cannot be sure. There we go. So that's going to be coming in. Radley checking the top left-hand base for an expansion. Dragon pushing forward. A little bit too far again, losing another Dragoon there. Radley doing a pretty good job of repairing, but he's not actually built or repaired that siege tank. And here is the ghosty boy. Look at him go, spinning around. Dragon trying to catch some of those vultures. Radley coming in behind, going to be able to put some mines down in the middle of the map. Oh my god, the Ursidon getting in the way. That is so funny. He is clearly on Protoss side today. Now Radley moving in. He's not going to really be doing too much. He doesn't have any... Wait, does he not have mines researched? He must have mines researched, right? Yeah, he's used them. Okay. He used the mines before they died. That is good, I'm glad. I was kind of worried that he hadn't got mines, and I was like, how is this possible? But we do have Stasis Field coming in first. The first Arbiter coming in as well. And LML pointing out, I literally did see him place a mine next to the bear. That is a very good point. But I have a very short memory span, because when I see a ghost, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you know. Whoa. And I know. But either way, yeah, I'm a goldfish. I have a terrible memory. But we've got EMP coming in on the science facility first. Science vessel is done. No nuclear facility at the moment. I don't think we're going to be seeing that for a while. Radley not quite in a position where he can afford that just yet. But Radley against Yeti made very good use of lockdown. And now we've got vultures moving in, laying mines in the forest. This is very annoying for Dragon to deal with, and you really do get to see the sort of difference in vision from those vision blockers. Now Radley going to come in from the top. There's a lot of probes here at this 4th base, and this is a lot of vultures. He does have 1-1, so they're able to kill everything pretty quickly down here. 2 shots for a probe still. He doesn't focus down any of the cannons because it's not too important. But Radley using most of his mines as well. Very, very important to do that. More probes. This is very weird. Dragon sending probes into vultures. I don't know if he thought they all died. There is a vision blocker here, so he can't see them. But that's definitely losing a few more probes than you want. But look how many probes Dragon has. He's on 64 probes, despite losing about 10 to 15 just then. Dragon in a very, very good position in this game. His macro looking stellar. We're 14 minutes into the game, and already we're starting to look like super late game. It's such a weird position to be in, but look how many gateways Dragon has. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 gateways? That is insane. Whereas Radley back at home, he's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 factories. So 10 factories against 14 gate. Arbiter, the first Arbiter is of course out. He does have stasis ready, no recall just yet. But that will be upgrading fairly soon. But it looks like Dragon wants to try and move in. Radley's units are out of position right now. He was trying to push over to the right-hand side of the map. But let's see how this is going to go. We're going to have 2 armies clashing here in the middle. Zooming out just a little bit so we can get it all on the screen. Nice siege up on the high ground from Radley. And Dragon is going to be forced back. Looks like some Goliaths got a little bit ahead of themselves there. One of them does manage to survive, pulling Dragoons back into the tank range as well. Radley is definitely in a good position this game. Dragon losing control of his army. 2 of those ghosts right at the front here. 4th base coming in. He's gonna... Oh my god, he's killing an observer with ghosts. Have you ever seen that before? Oh no, the ghosts! They're on the mines! No, the ghosts! One of them goes down. The second one survives. But tank on the high ground, he was trying to kill this base in the bottom right-hand corner. We've got 2 vessels over here actually getting ready for EMP. Both of them don't have the energy just yet. The Arbiter does have energy for stasis. Does he have recall yet? I don't think we've seen it researched just yet. But he should have it by now, I would say. Now, Radley doesn't have too many ghosts, I don't think. Oh, he does. He's got 4. Never mind. 4 ghosts for Radley. Units going on the top left-hand side of the map. This Marine gonna spot for this. Very nice scouting so far this game by Radley. Nice usage of mines. Nice usage of unit positioning. And now Dragon expanding to this base, as you can see, was a little bit greedy. That realistically is where Radley should be expanding to. Dragon should have expanded up here, but of course he was expanding to the right hand side, so you'd think this would be the next logical stop. But this is why it isn't. Tanks, very, very easy to kill that base. There's a very small ramp leading up to it as well, so definitely not looking good for him to defend this one. Now it looks like we've got Dragon moving up here to the top left-hand position. He is going to be able to take down some of these mines and the couple of vultures that are up there. He is expanding to his base here, which is obviously going to be good. The base in the bottom right-hand corner going to go down. Ghosts killing a cannon. Look how little damage they do, but one of them did get the kill. That is not something you see every day. So we're just going to keep looking at that for now. Now the one problem Radley is going to start to suffer from is the fact there's so many Arbiters. When you're playing against Protoss and they have this many Arbiters, it can become very difficult to actually defend. Now it looks like the units from Radley are going to be stuck here. First lockdown going down on one of the shuttles. 4 High Templars in the shuttle. Stasis on the back tanks. Now, was that worth it? It looks like Dragon is going to be able to deal with some of those units. But Radley still has a big army. Another lockdown going down on a couple of Dragoons. 2 lockdowns coming out from this Ghost. Very nicely done. That's going to be 2 free Dragoon kills. Both the supplies in a very, very good position. Looks like we do have a tank and 2 Ghosts down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Radley's army, though, in a bit of a weird position. We've got Stasis Field going down on those units. Going to keep an eye out for these Ghosts on the right-hand side. And I'll zoom back in just a second. Another lockdown going down on the Arbiter. Radley making fantastic use of lockdowns this game for sure. Now, a Goliath going to help take down at least one of these units. Over here we've got a vessel that was trying to fly over there for no reason, but another couple of Stasis coming in. And another lockdown. So there goes another one of those Arbiters. Both players trading incredibly similarly, but given the fact there was so many Stasis fields, a lot of Radley's units did survive those engagements. A Ghost does go down. Here comes Storm. Storming his own Arbiter, but it doesn't do any damage to it, and he takes out the shields. But Radley getting a lot of those Arbiters, which is very, very important. He was in a very awkward position before. The natural and the main base of Radley has been taken out, so that is a little bit of a worrying thing, but the main base has dried up as well. Another Arbiter goes down. That one actually had energy, but you'll notice that the main base is gone. The natural is about to go as well. The third base is completely gone over here for Dragon. He expanded so early. Now we do still have 2 Ghosts over here. I don't know what he's waiting for with them. I was kind of hoping he would nuke, but I think Radley is sticking to his word about how he wasn't going to nuke in the STPL until I freed the Dodal, so we're probably never going to get nuke in the STPL again. The Dodal shall never be free for as long as I live. I don't know if that's true. But either way, we've got Radley pushing on one of the final remaining gas mining bases of Dragon. Dragon, of course, has expanded to the top left-hand corner. Now, Dragon, of course, in still a good position. The supplies are dead even at this stage in the game. This is looking very similar to the game we had between Radley and Yeti. Now, Radley, by attacking this base in the right, can take this base, and that secures his base in the bottom right here. So he's definitely going to look to take that base if he can. Looks like Dragon's unit's getting a little bit stuck on this little ramp in the middle of the map due to the High Templar. But this is a big, big army heading down towards Radley, and Radley doesn't have that many units in place to defend. Could this be the big swing that Dragon needed? He may be able to get into this third base and clear it out. This is a very important gas, even though it is depleted. There is still a few minerals at this base, and depleted gas still returns, I think it's 2 at a time. So it's very important to have that as a Terran player, especially when you're going for sort of Ghosts and stuff like that. Now, unironically, this would be a good game for Radley to actually go nukes. But we have seen Radley go nukes and he lose because of it, so maybe it's better that he's just sticking to lockdown with the Ghosts. 2 Ghosts still hanging out over here, not doing anything, which is a little bit unfortunate. But here we go, a lot of Vultures moving in through the middle of the map. Going to catch a lot of these Zealots. This is very, very important. Dragon doesn't want to be losing these for free. And Radley is going to expand to his opponent's base that's halfway mined already. But oh my god, he's getting a High Templar as well. This is so important. 2 Templar go down there. Mines getting laid in the path of the units leaving the base. 2 Dragoons go down to mines. Radley going to get some of the gas mining probes as well. And Radley is playing stellar this game. Is this like the Day of Ash? all of Ash's players have played so well, and they've gone against some really strong opponents from NaS. And look at Radley, he's just picking more and more probes off. He's only using vultures. His tanks are back at home. He's got 3/3 upgrades. Dragon, meanwhile, is at 2/1. That's actually armor, not shields. And so far, I mean, realistically, these arbiters haven't really been working out. He's not been able to get in and do any recalls. And Radley's just kind of been sitting back defending, and here we go. Zooming on out here, seeing if Dragon can break his way up this ramp into this base. Another lockdown coming in. Storm going down, another lockdown. 2 of the arbiters completely useless now. And the final one is going to get away with its life. But that is 2 lockdowns, 2 arbiters. The Dragon's never going to get back. And this vulture is still alive. Now the 2 ghosts coming up to the front here, they're going to be in a position to actually defend this base. If he can lock down some of the front units, Dragon won't be able to push in. And here we go, Dragon's going to go with his observer. Doesn't check his former base, but he does see a vulture here, so maybe he should know that something is up. Now looks like Radley is going to be the one going for the aggression here. Looks like one of the ghosts out the front with enough for a lockdown. There it is, another lockdown coming in from Radley. And here is, oh, it's another ghost, but there's no lockdown available. But it is going to do a little bit of damage, soak a few hits from those goons. Another stasis field coming in. We're going to zoom out once again because I want to see everything on the screen at once. This is a very dynamic battlefield. Looks like a lot of Radley's tanks are going to go down here. But there's still a lot of tanks alive. It's still 3-3. All of the zealots for the most part have been cleaned up. And it's tanks against dragoons. The vultures coming in from behind this. Obviously some of the units in the right are still stasis. And he is going to be able to retrieve these with his units. Radley still at a supply advantage. Dragon losing a lot of his probes. And Radley coming in with yet another ghost. 1 kill on this ghost. Can he get another unit? A nice EMP, getting 2 of the arbiters. Very nicely done. And there's the 3rd arbiter. 2 lockdowns. Bada bing, bada boom. 2 of the arbiters not able to do anything here. The base goes down on the left-hand side. But once again, Radley is going to be losing his army. Now in the game against Yeti, we had a very similar situation to this. And Radley played a little bit over-aggressive and found himself losing a little bit later on, not respecting the Protoss army. But is he going to... Oh no, the Mind Drag! Oh, that was close! Radley is definitely looking like he's in a lot of trouble here. It's not looking great for our Polish Terran. He doesn't have that many units. He's got a lot of bases, a lot of money. But he's taking a lot of damage on his army every engagement. And looks like Yeti, the player who beat Radley in the last game that he played, has come in here to support his former teammate, his fellow countryman. And Dragon is going to push up here to the high ground. There's a lot of units. There's not that many well, there doesn't seem to be very many scans available. And the trouble is, Radley is essentially on nothing but tanks right now. There's no vultures, or there are, but they're not in the engagement. And this means that all of the zealots are just doing a ton of damage, but the arbiter goes down. Mines in the forest doing a lot of damage. Oh my goodness. That mine got bored. If that would have gone, or if that had gone in, that would have been incredibly good. But here we go. Vulture heading on up here, checking for the gas probes. Nothing mining here. Vulture over here, stopping Dragon expanding. Looks like we've got a push coming in over to this base. Lockdown coming in on the Arbiter. Lockdown on one of his SCVs as well for some reason. I'm not really sure what the point of that was. But I guess he just wanted to look suave. We've got tanks on the high ground. The lockdown obviously going to keep the SCV away from harm's way for the time being. Oh, an LML pointing out that Arbiter Cloak stops mines. That's why that stopped. Looks like we do have the tanks moving forward. Radley does lose one of his bases. Another lockdown coming in. But the problem is the zealots are always doing so much damage. But Radley is still trading well. Radley's still at a supply advantage. The Ghost should eventually kill the Arbiter. Oh no, it won't. The Arbiter's probably going to kill the Ghost. The battle between the lowest attack ever, but here we go, Radley pushing in over to the top left-hand corner. Lots of mines in between the army and him, so Radley is going to be able to clear this base out. He's going to clear a lot of probes out as well, and unlike Radley, who still has healthy bases, Dragon's mineral-only base is almost gone. His base in the top left-hand corner is going to be healthy for a little bit longer, but he doesn't have anywhere else to expand to. His other bases are a little bit too close to Radley. And you can see the tanks just outside there. Dragon GG's. Radley takes game number 4. NaS, who have gone unbeaten so far in the STPL this season. Radley screaming free the Dodal after you know that Dragon left. But Radley winning game 4. That is incredibly impressive. A 4-0 victory against NaS is not something many players or many teams have been able to do in the history of STPL, and Ash have finally beaten their 5-match losing streak. A great win by Radley, and Radley has broken his 9-game losing streak to beat the number 3rd or the rank 13th Protoss player in the STPL. That is incredible. Let's have a look, or let's give the win to Radley. Let's head on over to the results screen, and then we can close up the stream. But very, very, very nicely done, Radley. That was a very well played game. Lockdowns being used incredibly well. Here we are at the results screen. HitEmUp taking down dsaqwe in game number 1 with a very, very nice, very well organized push to counteract a failed Reaver or one-base Reaver. Squall taking down StRyKeR in yet another incredible ZBZ from him. Hejek or Hejek taking down Kingdom on Pathfinder. That was a fairly straightforward Hydra bust. That's just how Hydra busts go sometimes. And then of course in that last game we had Radley take on Dragon. A game that I think a lot of people would think that Radley would lose, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. Because essentially, Radley is a strong player, but when you look at his stats, he's lost his last 9 games. Dragon is ranked 13th in the STPL. And there we go, Ash. They've returned from the Ash. They are Phoenixes now. They've got to change their team name because they have broken their losing streak in the STPL, and they are going to put themselves on the board with that win there. And what a win it was. Rank 1 is Noob, rank 2 is Scan, rank 3 is Koga, rank 4 is DeWalt, rank 5 is Fatmasi. But rank 1 in the teams is now was. So, that is going to bring an end to the stream for today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I want to say a massive thank you, of course, to our sponsors, Esport Fund, for supporting us with $1,000. Anyone who's supported on Matrino as well to bring the prize pool to its current level. Any of our patrons, any of the subs, and any of you guys just in chat watching, you make casting solo manageable. If it wasn't for you guys talking to me, I would go insane. So that's how it is. Really, really good to have the STPL back again. I'll be back on Friday, same time, same place. We're going to have 2 series. We're going to have Red versus Rev, the Dodals versus whatever the Rev logo is, and IRK versus Soul. That should be a fun matchup as well. We've got 4 of the best players in Europe against 4 of the best amateur Koreans in the tournament. That is going to be awesome. You don't want to miss it. 2100 CET, same time, same place. And I will see you next time. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully, you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.